Hey everyone, welcome to week 7. We're at week 7 already. Corner Pub NFL pregame show, live on Heat Ratio Sports, live on Corner Pub Sports. Of course, it's all brought to you by WinDailySports.com. Use promo code HEAT for your Sunday only discount on all your action, in-game betting action. WinDailySports.com, promo code HEAT. It's all brought to you by that today, powered by Win Daily. So, of course, as always, I want to thank Heat Ratio Sports, Tony over there, for doing this collaboration with us. We've been doing it for almost every week. Last week I took a week off. I was on vacation, but every week I've been bringing you betting and fantasy advice, and been pretty having a good time with it. So, hope you guys are enjoying it, and hopefully you're getting some moolah out of it. So, of course, brought to you by also my book. All right. No one likes this, but we do care. It's out on Amazon. It came out 2 weeks ago. So far, the reviews have been excellent. I've been very pleased with it. So, no one likes this, but we do care. The anatomy of a Philadelphia sports fan, all about being a Philadelphia sports fan, what it's really about, what it's really like. Enough of the narrative that we hear from the national media, enough of all that. So check that book out. It's on Amazon, and it'll be in some stores as well. So, but anyway, let's get to the action. Week 7 coming at you hot and heavy because it's already starting now. We got London happening right now. An interesting game. New England went up 10-0 early, and Jacksonville is just taking over. Special teams touchdown. The defense kind of stepped up. A couple of decent drives by Blossom, by Trevor Lawrence there. So kind of interesting how that game's going right now. But it looks like Jacksonville's starting to take control of that a little bit. But we'll see how the second half goes. It was really a tale of two different quarters. Sorry, I'm looking over here because it's at halftime. I was just seeing what was going on. But yeah, so it's been a pretty entertaining game so far for a Sunday morning. So let's get at it. Seattle, Atlanta. This is the first game we're going to look at here. And it's interesting. Seattle is underdogs on the road in Atlanta. That kind of makes sense. I get it. Over under is 51 points there in that game. This one was actually kind of tough to call, to think about. Atlanta's starting to come on a little bit. Their offense is starting to churn. Kirk Cousins is playing much better than he had at the beginning of the season. They're starting to find an identity there. Seattle's been pretty solid for most part, for most of the year. The over-under tells you right there, 51 points. This is going to be a shootout. And in a game like that, there's a couple guys to really look at here. First of all, it goes without saying, Bijan Robinson is definitely a play here, but Tyler Algier as well. And the reason being is because Seattle allows the 5th most rushing yards in football. They average 5.1 yards a carry, I think. That's incredible. So they're going to be able to run on this team. So if you have any of the Atlanta running backs, you definitely want to play them. Obviously, you're starting Bijan anyway. On the other side of the ball, though, Jackson Smith and Najigba is an interesting play there because, and DJ Metcalf as well. You're going to start Metcalf, but to me, again, with being a shootout, they're going to be tossing the ball all over the place. So I can see this being kind of an air raid type of game there for Seattle. So, and in the game, I like Seattle. I think Seattle will cover. I don't know if they'll win. They'll cover. It's 3 points. I think it's going to be a close one. There's something unsettling there about Atlanta being 3-point favorites there. I know they give the 3 to home, so it's basically, they're looking at it as a pick 'em. And because of that, I'm going to go Seattle. Tennessee and Buffalo is the second game on our docket today. We got Buffalo 9.5-point favorites. Over under is 41. That's a lot of points. I know that we got run the ball from Gary. Run the ball. That's right. Atlanta's got to run the ball. So this one is interesting because that's a ton of points. I know Will Levis has been absolutely terrible. Tennessee doesn't seem to have an identity. I just talked about Atlanta finding an identity. Tennessee still doesn't have that yet, and it's crazy with that offensive firepower they have on paper there. They just can't get it going. Despite the 9.5, I got to go Buffalo here. I have a hard time thinking that Tennessee's going to hang around in this game. And obviously Cooper. Amari Cooper now gets traded to Buffalo. Buffalo gets a little a new toy there, and I think Josh Allen's going to want to play with that new shiny toy a little bit. So I see Amari Cooper kind of making an impact immediately in this game, and I think Tennessee's going to struggle quite a bit to keep up with them. So I like Buffalo. I do like Tony Pollard though. He has 15 points in 4 out of the first 5 games for Tennessee. That's pretty impressive. And in this case, though, obviously you want to be a little weird because if Buffalo does go up big, they're not going to run the ball. Tennessee won't. So, but I still like Tony Pollard. He's probably the one consistent asset that Tennessee has had this year. So I would definitely play him. Next game on the docket here, we got Cincinnati and Cleveland. Cincy is 5.5-point favorites on the road in Cleveland. 41.5 is the over-under there. Of course, both teams are struggling. Cleveland, say what you want. I guess they hung around in Philadelphia last week. Cleveland is another team trying to find it. They just traded away Amari Cooper. So that's going to open up targets for Jerry Jeudy. That's going to open up targets for David Njoku, who's back now. So, that's going to help. I mean, I don't know if that's going to help them, but for those two guys, fantasy-wise, it's going to help those guys. I don't know if that helps that offense at all. However, 5.5 points at home, being underdogs, I know you're a bad team. The way they hung around with the Eagles last week, I think they kind of do the same with Cincinnati this week. Cincinnati's another one. They won last week against the Giants, 21-7, I think the final was, 21-10, something like that. So it wasn't like they blew them out or anything. They're still not looking quite right. They have had one game this year so far where they looked pretty dominant. Aside from that, they've been a very average team. Cincy not great, but Cleveland is a dumpster fire. Yeah, absolutely. And Cleveland's where you go with careers. Cleveland's where careers go to die. Yeah, absolutely. It's a tough call there. I just think that Cleveland hangs around to cover that 5.5. They're not going to win the game though. Next game. Oh, sorry. Fantasy advice there. Chase Brown. Chase Brown has outsnapped Zach Moss in the last 2 weeks now. It looks like Chase Brown is starting to become a viable weapon there for Cincinnati. So if you have Chase Brown, I would start him this week. Cleveland's not the easiest of matchups. They do have a pretty decent run defense. The front is pretty good, but I'm still going to go Chase Brown there. Next game on the docket, we got Houston and Green Bay in Lambeau. Not the frozen tundra yet. We're getting there. This is another one. So 48.5 is the over-under. This is another one that has the potential of being a shootout. These are two really good offenses. This might be the game of the day, honestly. There's another one that's coming up here 2 games from here that should be really good. But and we got coffee's getting cold. Let's get the sizzlers on the table. Sizzlers are coming. I actually considered doing this one as a sizzler, but this wasn't the easiest week to pick them either. But yeah, anyway, so this has the potential of being a shootout. I really like Green Bay at home. If it was in Houston, I'd probably feel a different way. I'm hesitant because I think Houston is going to stick around with Green Bay here. I think it's going to be a neck to neck battle. It's going to probably come down the last possession or two in the game. It's going to be a lot of fun, I think. But I'm going to go Green Bay. I think Green Bay covers the 3. Maybe they win by 4 or 5, something like that. If you have Jordan Love, I mean, come on, you got to be starting him right now. Again, another shootout possibility. Any of the receivers for Green Bay, you want to start them. On the other side, with Collins being out, Tank Dell stepped up last week. I don't know if he's going to. I can't count on him every week. But Stephon Diggs would be a nice play, obviously, in a shootout type of matchup. But Tank Dell is another one. Obviously, you want to take a look at, and a sneaky one, Dalton Schultz. Schultz could be a kind of a security blanket there for C.J. Stroud today. Next game on the docket, we have Miami and Indy. Indy's 3-point favorites, 43.5 over under there. Miami again. They have one more week. It seems like rumors are that Tua is coming back. That's what they're saying. He's saying he's having no lingering effects. His concussion effect, side effects or whatever, they're gone. He's having nothing going on. So it sounds like he might be coming back to play football next week. Miami is probably collectively holding their breath and hoping he does because they still have a shot. I mean, we're still early in the season here, where Miami can still win a few games here. Where they've been playing okay, I guess, not great, but once Tua comes back, I think they're going to take that next step up maybe and get back in the swing of things. We still have half a season left here. Do I like the over? Oh, in the Green Bay game, yes, I do. 48.5 was the over under in that. Yeah, I do like the over. And I do have some over under plays coming up a little bit later. I usually don't get into the over unders too much, but we're gonna do that tonight or today with tonight's games. Yeah, so Miami, Indy. I like Indy here until Tua comes back. I can't trust Miami at all. Indy's played pretty well the last few weeks, despite Anthony Richardson not playing. He's coming back. He's back in the action today. He's apparently 100% healthy. We'll see. But a play for fantasy players out there, Raheem Mostert. He had a very, very solid game before the bye. Achane is not 100%. I think he's playing, but he's got lingering effects going on there. So I do like Mostert this week. I think that Indy's defense can be had on the ground. And then on the other side of the ball, Josh Downs has been very solid for the Colts this year. And with Richardson back, Richardson really liked Downs last year when he was in the games. I think because of the games that Downs has had lately, I think Richardson's going to trust him a little more. I think he's a go-to target for Richardson now. So we'll see what goes on there with Richardson back and if that continues. But I have a good feeling it will. So I do like Josh Downs for the Colts on that side of the ball. Next game we have is Detroit, Minnesota. So this is the other game that could be the game of the day. Obviously, a big time NFC North matchup. When's the last time we said that? Right? Week 8, week 9. You're like, oh man, this game's huge for the NFC North. Usually North is like a bunch of subpar sub 500 teams, and Green Bay's running away with it, right? Or Detroit, or one of them, right? This is a really good game, at least on paper. 1.5 point favorites at home is Minnesota. Minnesota is 5-0 against the spread this year. I think they can become the first team in like quite a while to go 6-0 to start off the season against the spread. So I don't think it happens today. I think the Lions get to the Vikings today. I think the Lions finally dethrone the Vikings and they give them their first loss. What's this? Downs 55 fantasy points. Yeah, okay. What we got here? We got agree Miami without Tua can't be trusted, and Indy playing better. Richardson an upgrade right now. They play better with the backup with Joe Flacco. I think he is. I think at least definitely adding that extra attribute with him running adds a little extra for Indy, but we'll see. Rob, and check out Rob's podcast. It's a bi-weekly podcast, not this week, but next Sunday night. Your team sucks. SUX. Okay. With Mike Slawinski of the Corner Pub Show and Rob, they do a kind of back and forth Eagles versus Cowboys kind of banter. It's a fun show. So it's on YouTube. You can check it out. Your team sucks, but it'll be every other Sunday. So it's next Sunday at 8:00. So Rob said, the Lions kicked butt last week. Absolutely, they did. They look like they're starting to find themselves too. So that's why I'm kind of riding with the Lions here. As far as fantasy, Jared Goff has to be in your starting lineup right now. He has 5 touchdowns and no picks in his last 2 games. Granted, he's going against a really good Minnesota defense. So that's that defense is something to be worried about if you're an NFC opponent right now, an NFC team, because they are pretty solid. But I think Goff's going to do I think he's going to do well enough. He's going to continue. And based off of that, Jameson Williams has 14 plus points in 5 of his last 6 games, fantasy wise. Jameson Williams is a start. And I think because so many teams are keying on St. Brown right now, it's opening things up for Williams. So I do like that play. Fantasy wise, let me see. Hutchinson's not there, but that will hurt the Lions. Absolutely, Hutchinson, man, that was a gruesome injury. I saw the replay. I didn't get to see it live. That was scary. Chris says I have Mahomes and Goff. I don't know who to start. I tell you what, that's a tough one this week. I'm going to go Goff, honestly, because the Chiefs aren't scoring points right now. So that's why I'm going to go with Goff. I think until Kansas City really gets going, I don't know if they are. I think the Chiefs' offense is what they are this year. without Pacheco, without all that going on there, and now Rice, losing Rice is going to hurt them. I do have an interesting play with that though coming up after the Selby Sizzlers. All right, Selby Sizzlers. I gave you 3 games. See if you like it. See if you don't. I've been hit. So I did I kind of did a review. I've hit on 10 of the 15 games. All right, not bad, right? I like it a little bit, a little bit better. 13 range, 13 out of 15 would have been even better, but 10 out of 15, okay, not bad. This week may have been the hardest week to pick the Sizzlers. All right, so I don't really like a lot of the lines this week. But I do like this one. All right. I'm going to go Eagles. I'm going Eagles over the Giants. I think they cover the 3 points. I think everyone is kind of worried, and they should be a little bit worried after what happened last week against Cleveland. The Eagles didn't look quite right coming out of the bye. They're at home. This is a Saquon Barkley revenge game. I know we've been hearing all week, but it's the truth. He wants to make them pay for not paying him, right? He wants to make them pay for letting him go, letting him walk. Granted, he's probably I know he's happier here. He has to be, right? But I expect a big day out of Barkley. I'm putting the over on 60 rushing yards and anytime touchdown. Not a big bet, but it'll break even. $10 will get you $10 basically. But I mean, I think that's a no-brainer. I think he absolutely scores, and I think he torches them for probably more than that. The Giants' run defense is not very good. They average 5.2 yards on the ground per carry. That's hideous. So Barkley should be fed regularly and often today against the Giants. And I think because of that, the Eagles can control the game. I picked 24-16 was the final or something like that. So like the game score might be a little closer. I don't think it's as close. The Giants defense overall is not bad. Their linebacker secondary are pretty good. A.J. Brown has owned the Giants in his career. That's another thing to look out for. I know there's no Dallas Goedert. I still like the Eagles, though. I just can't. I don't want to think about them losing. I'll just put it that way, all right? And I'm repping Saquon today, so let's go. Let's go Birds, all right? Sorry, I'm missing the comments here real quick. Thanks, Guy. Chris says thank you. The Chiefs not scoring comment swayed me. Mike said, is that against the spread or straight up? Oh, that was the Minnesota. That was against the spread, Minnesota. That's not a sizzler. That's burnt bacon. And then, okay, fix my QB. All right, cool. All right, second Selby Sizzler of the day. Like I said, Eagles, right? Second Sizzler, Vikings. The Raiders take on the Rams in LA. I'm sorry, I didn't put the line there. The Rams are 7-point favorites. I don't like it at all. This is the one game that kind of stuck out to me. I went, no, it's like Buffalo is a big line. Like you always kind of jump at those big lines. 7 points is a ton of points for the Rams. Kieran Williams has been awesome this year. He's kind of cooled off a little bit the last week or two, but he's going to do his thing. Stafford's still without Nakua. Kupp, I think, is banged up. I don't know if you can trust him right now. That is a ton of points for me to say, yeah, I'm going to go to Rams here. I'm going the Raiders. I think the Raiders are good enough to stick in this game and hang around there. It's 43.5 over under there. My fantasy play is Brock Bowers, 16 points his last 2 fantasy games. He's becoming a real reliable target there for the Raiders. This is why. Matt the Scissors record. I don't know, dude. I don't know what it was. It was just my picks overall. Like either because I go to and from, so like over under or I'm sorry, underdog or favorite. So I mix it up. I'm just looking at wins or losses as far as my pick being correct. So yeah, I'm definitely going Raiders here. I think that spreads way too much there for the. Who are the Rams to give 7 points right now? And then this one, Chris, you're not going to like this. I know you're a big Chiefs fan. I kind of teased this on the Corner Pub show on Friday night. And by the way, if you aren't a subscriber or you don't watch Corner Pub Sports, please do. Friday nights 8:15. It's a fun banter. It's nonsense. It's nothing serious like this. Like not just serious, but you know what I mean. We go at it. We just have a good time. So Friday nights. But anyway, I kind of alluded to it. I really like San Francisco in this game because of what I said earlier to Chris about his, question about Mahomes. San Fran has surprised me, even though their record isn't great and anything like that. They're banged up. Obviously, they're starting to get healthier. Christian McCaffrey might be coming back in the next couple of weeks. But George Kittle has stepped up big time. Debo had a bad week last week, but the week before he did really well. Juwan Jennings has been really every week. It's been like someone else. To me, that defense is going to do enough to stop the Chiefs. So I like San Francisco in this game, 1.5 at home. Okay, that's the difference. If it was in Kansas City, I probably feel different. In San Fran, Andy Reid, I like to see what Andy Reid's career has been playing in San Fran, because I can remember him struggling with the Eagles going against San Fran. Even though San Fran wasn't like a great team and stuff, that team would always struggle. 47 is the over under there. That seems about right. Actually, that might seem a little high, to be honest with you, because they're kind of thinking shootout. I don't know. Both those defenses are pretty darn good there. So, but yeah, that's the sizzler there. So again, just to recap: Eagles, the -3, the Raiders +7, and then we got San Fran -1.5. Let's see what you guys are thinking. Go Giants! Yeah, Giants fan there. It's gonna be a fun game. Go Saquon. When Saquon scores, are you gonna cry? And then going against Reed after the bye. I am. That whole thing kind of went by the wayside a couple years ago. He started losing after the bye, so that whole thing. Now watch. Mahomes is going to light it up. Kansas City is going to fly by the Niners, and everyone's going to be looking at the Chiefs again, going, "All right, they're the team again." Not that anyone isn't, but that's how it's going to go. All right, let's get back to regular games here. Carolina and Washington. Washington 9.5-point favorites over the pretty bad Panthers team. Again, these big spreads always scare me. It's not double digits, so that makes it a little easier. But Washington looks really good right now, and they're at home. I like Washington to cover that 9.5, 51.5 over under seems about right. I think that's, Washington can probably put up 35 on this team. Carolina can score, another 17 or something like that. So that seems about right. Yeah, I don't know if it's crazy. Washington is the best team in the NFC East this year. I don't know if anyone saw that coming really at this stage. I knew their defense was going to be good with Lulu and dude from Seattle. Just skipped my mind right now. Yeah, I lost his name right now. But with that, their defense, I knew it was going to be vastly improved over the previous year. So, but that offense, Jaden Daniels picking up as quick as he is. Again, we talked about it on our show on Friday. Is it because the book's not out on him yet? That could be. I don't know. But right now, you can't bet against them. So, yeah, Washington all the way in this one. This one's interesting. Jets, 1.5 favorites on the road in Pittsburgh. Now, did the Devontae Adams trade sway that line? Because the Jets are averaging 16 points a game right now, something like that. They're not scoring points. Pittsburgh's defense is really good. But on the other side of the ball, Pittsburgh's going to go with Russell Wilson today. I don't like this at all. Pittsburgh's offensive line is awful. Russell Wilson can't run anymore. To me, Justin Fields, not that Justin Fields is this great quarterback, but Justin Fields extended plays. Now, we were talking about it again on Friday's show. Is that because Fields doesn't see the field? Doesn't see the field that well. Russell Wilson is obviously chiseled veteran, been in the league for a long time here. Maybe he can see the field a little bit better. He can get the ball out quicker. Guys like Pickens and, whatever. So I don't know. To me, that game worries me. Man, this one was really tough. But I'm going to go with the Jets. I think Devontae Adams makes an absolute – I know this is low-hanging fruit. But and some people are scared to start Devontae Adams right now because they don't know what's going to be like. Look at that repertoire he has with Aaron Rodgers. It's one of the all-time greats, right? Great connections. I'm going Adams here, and I think because of that, the Jets to me are going to be enough. They're going to do enough against Pittsburgh to win this game here. I hate Russell Wilson starting in this game. There's something about it. So I teased earlier that I normally don't do the over/under plays. However, unders on Sunday Night Football are 32-10 since 2022. 2022. So since 2022, unders are 32-10 in Sunday Night Football. 38.5 though, kind of low. That's not a real high over under there, but just think about that. All right, just do what you will with that. All right, Monday Night Football. There's two. It's a doubleheader this week. Baltimore 3.5-point favorites at Tampa Bay. 49.5 over under. I like Tampa Bay. I like Tampa Bay to at least cover. Baker Mayfield's playing otherworldly right now. Their running game's not that great, which is fine because Baltimore's run defense is pretty darn good. So, there's something about this being Tampa Bay being at home. I like this. With that being said, anytime I've gone against the Ravens, they've proved me wrong. They've blown teams out. I don't see them blowing out Tampa Bay. Mike agrees. Yeah, the 38.5 is super low. It really is. We're talking back, to the Jets Pittsburgh game. So, I don't know if it might be 32-11 at this point. And then Pittsburgh is so hard to predict. Yes, they are. Back to this game. Tampa Bay home. I kind of like them this week to cover at least. Zay Flowers, though, has been lighting it up for Baltimore. He's been the go-to target for Lamar Jackson. Obviously, Derrick Henry has been running through defenses like crazy. He's got almost 750 yards already. That's crazy. So he's going to continue his tear as well. But I think Tampa Bay can hang around here. I think their offense is good enough to make this a close game. And then finally, the last Monday night game, the last game on the docket this week, we got the Chargers 2.5-point favorites against Arizona. Over-under is 44. Guys, I got to say that this one wasn't easy to pick either. However, I have to go Chargers here. Arizona looks lost. For a team that looked like and Marvin Harrison's out. He's got a concussion, so that makes it even easier. What does Arizona have to stick around in the game right now? Kyler Murray has really cooled off since his first 2 seasons or so, really since his big injury. I know Justin Herbert hasn't been great at either. I'm not fully confident in this game, but I just don't see how the Arizona can win this game. I know they're home and everything like that, but J.K. Dobbins is a great play, by the way, for the Chargers. Arizona allows the second most rushing yards in the league. So J.K. Dobbins is definitely someone who can take over this game for the Chargers. Maybe Herbert doesn't have to force things down the field, make it a little easier. Josh Palmer's been a nice play too. I think he could be a good play this week against Arizona's defense, who could be had. So, again, I'm not super confident about that one, but I just like the Chargers there. So that's going to wrap up the docket for Week 7. I hope everyone enjoys the games. It's going to be a fun game. You're starting to see some division games starting to take hold here. Like I said, the Giants and Eagles, Vikings, Detroit. That's going to be a lot of fun. There's going to be, really good games. Houston, Green Bay is going to be fun. So it's going to be interesting to see how things play out here in Week 7. You almost used to say, near the halfway point, but, Week 9's, I guess, technically the halfway point now. So it's kind of weird to say that, but the season's flying by and games are going to start meaning a lot more now. So, there's still a lot of football to be played, but these games matter. But anyway, hope you guys enjoyed the show, and I hope you guys enjoy the docket of games today. And again, no one likes this, but we do care. My book came out 2 weeks ago. It's on Amazon. Please go get it. If you're a Philadelphia fan, you're really going to love it. Even if you're just a sports fan or someone who's a sports fan, they're going to love it because it kind of gives a different perspective on the Philadelphia sports fan that you're used to hearing, the throwing snowballs and all that nonsense. Kind of sheds things in a different light. Not all good, bad, and ugly is listed there, but please go check it out. All right. Thank you guys. Thank you, Jay. Appreciate it. Everyone is tuning in. Thank you so much. Again, it's brought to you by Win Daily Sports. Use promo code HEAT for your Sunday discount on your bets. And I will see you guys next week. Thank you very much.